You know, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in entertainment, media, sports, paralegalism, Staten Island, and so much more. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Calabrese. And Joe, you got the iced coffee right there, so that is right on brand for this interview. And we are going to get right into it. We love it when we have a fellow Staten Islander on with us. And our guest today, Joe, he's someone that is going to make you put a lot of pep in your step.
Yeah, you've been practicing that one for a week, but he's incredibly funny. We're very, very happy to have him on. You can now call him comedy influencer, right? He's all over social media.
Content creator. He's not an
Content
influencer.
creator. Is there anything he doesn't do? We'll let him answer that. But we welcome Rob Pepicino to the show. Rob, finally you're on with us. We're very happy to have you on. How you doing today,
Thank,
pal?
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Listen, I am not a content creator. I'm not an influencer. I'm just a
Coffee
J.
drinker.
I don't know if I can curse, but
Go
Good.
ahead.
Times.
I'm just a jerk off with an iPhone. Like that's how I refer to myself. There's nothing. I'm not influencing you anything other than just to drink, laugh, tell someone off.
There you go. It's not, well, we have something in common here, Joe, now, because the three of us, we all have SI Live featured articles, which is a big privilege if you're a Islander. If you know, you know.
That's like the Staten Island Holy Grail.
Yeah,
Yep.
so yeah, the article come out recently. That was well written. So,
Was well written.
so good job there. I'm sure you and your family are very happy about that.
Actually, if you want to laugh, when I told my mother, she said, "Oh, why did the guy pick you?" I said, "Why wouldn't he pick me? And who else is he gonna pick?"
There we
I
go.
was like, okay.
Fair point. So obviously you got a lot going on. You are working, you're on social media. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first app you're checking on your iPhone?
The first app I'm checking. So I
Yeah.
have this thing where I don't look at the phone in the morning because I'm a late sleeper. So by the time I get up, I have like 15 minutes to get to work, then to sit in the hour. You know, got 15 minutes to get ready, get to work. You got to sit in this traffic. But when I get at my desk finally, the first thing I'm looking at is usually TikTok because it's the time of the we're in the times where you get all your news through the TikTok. So that's how I find out what's going on in the world.
Okay. And did you start, with your posting? You start on TikTok first or Instagram?
TikTok, yeah, on TikTok. I started first on TikTok, and then I got some advice. Like I started posting on TikTok at the end of January of 2024, and then like it started doing good February, March, and then in the middle of March, I became friends with like some like people that influence and post and all this stuff. And this kid was like, "I'm gonna give you one piece of advice." He's like, TikTok is hard to grow. He's like, just start cross posting on Instagram, and I bet you overnight things are going to be happening for you. So I just started cross posting, and then it just took off from there. And the Instagram is actually growing more than TikTok because there's something going on with TikTok. I don't know.
Interesting. Do you think it's true what they say about TikTok about how they kind of have one post go super viral for somebody early on to kind of get you hooked in and then you don't stop?
Yeah, I would say so because like I posted like 3 or 4 times, and then on the fourth post, it got like 100,000 views. Then I got 350,000 views. Then I got 3.9 million. So it like happens in the beginning a lot, and then you can usually catch like a viral post like I would say 2 times a month. But like if you wanna crack a million, it's like every 3 months.
Interesting. So you think there's some weird
A
distribution?
100%, 100%, 100%. And they favor certain words, they favor certain people. You got to look a certain way. Like I have a whole conspiracy theory about TikTok. I also have over the last year, I've realized that I feel that they allot you a certain amount of views each month. And like, for instance, in the month of April, within like the first 5, 6 days, I did like 3 million total in like all in like views across all the videos that I posted. And then it just died out. So I'm just convinced that they give you a certain amount each month, and if you use it all up, the content just dies out.
All right, more on that later, Joe.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's really interesting stuff. Thanks for clarifying that. Only because
And
I
they
know.
favor and they favor the beginning of the month. It's like I went back and studied all my videos. My most viral videos happen within the first 7 days of the month.
Interesting. Nick, I think we're gonna have to start following this model.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to hold off on posting this episode until the beginning of June.
We're gonna get a couple million, and then we're gonna be cooking and we're gonna be rolling.
Yeah, but you know what? TikTok, honestly, TikTok is dead. Even I know creators
Absolutely.
that have millions of followers. They're like, I'm not even cracking 3,000 views on a post.
Yep.
And people that I met last year that were encouraging me, they're like, oh, I'm in the creator rewards program. I'm making 5K a month. I'm making 4K a month. These people have gone out this year and have gotten jobs because it's so bad.
So you can't do it full time anymore, but we have to post the beginning of the month, Nick. So let's talk about growing up on Staten Island. Obviously, we all grew up on Staten Island. We all have different viewpoints about it. But I love my childhood. Can't complain. Obviously, the food here is amazing. So, what neighborhood did you grow up in, and what was your life like growing up here?
I'm I'm actually from Brooklyn. I didn't move to Staten Island until I was in the eighth grade.
Okay.
I moved to Staten Island. I moved to like the Annandale area.
Well,
I
where
went,
Brooklyn were you born? What
I'm
area?
from Mill Basin, Georgetown area.
Okay. I
Joe's from Brooklyn too.
was born in Brooklyn, but I moved to Staten Island when I was, a little less than 2 years old. So
Yeah,
obviously, I
I
grew
moved
up.
here like kind of as like a young teenager. I moved to Annandale. I went to IS 75.
That's where we went.
Oh,
What?
that's so funny. What
Yep.
year did you graduate there?
2006.
Six,
No,
Oh,
seven, six, something like that.
six, six.
all right. So I'm like 3 years older than you guys. I graduated there 2004.
Okay.
I just moved to Staten Island. I mean, to be honest with you, it was a big adjustment
Yeah.
just because at that age, you were like have your friends. So I had to come here and make all new friends and
Give
to
us a
meet
shout out to a random IS-25 teacher that you remember.
IS 75, you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Give
teacher.
us a
I
teach sheet.
remember I remember Mr. Herman. He
He's
was
still
Oh,
there. He's
he's still
still there.
there.
yeah, he was the I think assistant principal. And it's funny
Yep.
because I was there for not that long. And then I actually had an incident with someone. And I'll never forget Mr. Herman because funny story, I tripped in the lunchroom walking and I like fell this way and like fell into a girl who then went back to the principal and like said that I had did something to her. So I had gotten in trouble. And I'll never forget my dad came up to the school and my dad doesn't come to school for nothing. He don't give a shit about nothing. He says to Mr. Herman, look at my son. You think he touched her inappropriately? So I'll never forget him. And then ever since then, he has stayed in my mind forever. Because listen, I've been like this my whole life. We don't need much introduction.
Oh,
And
man.
I bet you if you ask that man that story, he definitely remembers it.
Well, one of our friends, he works there. I'm gonna have him ask him.
Swear to God, I swear to God. I'll never even forget the girl's name from the until the day I die. Because like I talk about this story all the time.
Oh boy.
So give us your go to bakery and pizzeria.
So the pizzeria really honestly depends on my mood. Like
Yeah.
last night after the Mother's Day celebration, we were hungry. I was craving a specific slice, so Villamonte on Page.
Yep.
Um, I'm a big Ciro's lover. I like
Right.
Ciro's. It's right there by my house. I don't
Fine.
have to go too far. It's consistent. It's always the same.
All right, fair enough. So
It's your go-to.
my go-to again, it depends on my mood. I used to love Villamonte Arden Avenue, which is no longer there,
I
but
know they closed down.
So I
dine in Villamonte on Page. They give you huge portions,
do.
absolute to absolute must. But I kind of mix it up. I see who's got the deals, who's got the half trays. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
that's
It's
pretty much.
actually a really good pizzeria. I recently moved to like the Rossville area, and there's like in the little shopping center. It's called Mamma Mia.
Yeah. I've
They
heard
have
it was good
phenomenal
there too.
pizza.
Joe has a go-to place, one place only.
I do. Well, I mean,
He's in Great Kills.
yeah, well, so when my family is in from Florida, it's always Lee's Tavern, and I'm very biased because I like the bar pie style. But I also live near Great Hills, so I always push for Nona's. I think Nona's is
Oh
one
yeah,
of the
Nona's
best.
is really good. They opened up in Tottenville.
Yep.
Delicious. We're like lucky you can go anywhere and have a good slice on Staten Island.
Sure, you could pretty much walk like 10 minutes in any direction, you're gonna get good pizza.
Yeah,
It's not the
exactly.
same anywhere else.
One of my favorite parts of my, I don't want to say childhood, but like the high school years was going to Ralph's Ices. But now the prices are just insane, Rob. 450 for a small. It's not worth it to me.
No.
I'm on a boycott for a few years now from Ralph's.
Besides the fact of the price, it's funny you bring this up. I was talking to one of the workers recently because I said I don't like going to Ralph's anymore because of the experience. Because if you've
Uh,
noticed, I mean, I go to the one that's on like Amboy Road.
yeah,
Every time you go there, there's DoorDash drivers with the phone like this.
to pick up the order, right?
And it actually annoys me because there are times I could be a fat, lazy piece of shit and not want to get out of the bed, but I feel that Ralph's Ices is an experience where you got to get up, you got to wait
Yeah.
online, you got to debate about what you want. The whole DoorDash has like killed the whole like Ralph's vibe, and I just feel like they
Mm.
should take it off of DoorDash because if you can't get up for Ralph, you don't deserve it.
I agree. Should be an in-person thing, cash only thing, right?
Exactly. And I just don't like, you're waiting on the line, the DoorDash people come, they have the phone up in the air. Like it just like it kills my vibe. I don't know. That's like a new pet peeve of mine.
Do you ever go to like ice flavor?
It depends. It depends on the mood. But actually this year I never used to get the Twister. I've been liking the Twister, the blue Hawaiian with the vanilla soft serve. That's my like new go-to.
All right. How about you,
They
Joe?
al- they also have these $15 Dubai chocolate and
That's the new craze, right?
rainbow cookie.
The top flavor. I don't
To
think
be
it's my number
honest with
one
you,
though.
I did splurge once. It was not worth it. They should be embarrassed to be serving that. No shade to Ralph, but it's my
See,
honest to God.
I'm disappointed because I used to love Velmonte. I used to have the best ices, but
Yeah,
they don't have them anymore. So
no,
it's rough.
no. I feel like that's like a Brooklyn thing now that still has like the real classic Italian ices.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you're going to L&B and you're going to Spumoni Gardens and
Uh-huh.
the ice right next door to the pizza.
it's the
I mean,
best.
graham cracker, I'd say red
It's the
velvet, and I
best.
would say my mom likes jelly ring a lot. I do like jelly ring too.
Oh, wow.
So I like the cream ices at
I
Ralph's
like graham
because
cracker.
graham cracker is good. The fruit ices, I feel like you got to be in the mood for it. If not, you go to another old school Italian place elsewhere for like the lemon ice or something.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Oh, Joe, maybe you should open up an ice place.
Hopefully someday
You could
soon.
call it like, DoorDash ices or something, and people be Googling and get
No,
confused.
no, I'm with Rob. No, no, none of that stuff.
No, it just
We're cash only. We only serve there. I'll make the environment good.
Door dashing and ice is like door dashing Carvel.
Right? Who does that?
What about people?
Does
How do you
that?
feel about people who DoorDash their iced coffee?
That's another thing. I don't like that because see me like getting up and going like getting the
Wouldn't it
coffee.
be quicker to go out and get the coffee than to wait
Yeah,
for
so
the DoorDash and pay
absolutely.
$15 for shipping?
I also don't trust anyone with a drink. So I'm not comfortable with like a random man or woman picking up my drink, driving it in their car. You don't know what people are capable of these
Exactly.
days.
So might, oh, this looks good. Let me take a sip. And then
Yeah, I'm
it's
not
like,
comfortable.
dude,
And also getting a coffee is an experience.
yeah, you got to
It's an
make your
It's a
way.
experience.
part of my day to day. When I don't get a coffee and I don't come and see my people at Dunkin', the day just doesn't go the same.
All right, so more on coffee for sure. But you mentioned it. You recently moved to the Rossville area, so a lot of people out there, you get the apartment, you're living in the basement, you're upstairs, you got a landlord. So how is your landlord?
My landlord is nice. I mean, I don't live in a basement actually because I had my first apartment was a basement apartment and it actually got 16 feet of water
Oof.
during the hurricane in 2021. And I
Yeah.
actually had to swim out of a window. It's a very
Oh
scary,
my
dramatic
gosh.
story that I don't really share a lot. But now I live like in a real like upstairs apartment. We can't get no water. We're all good.
Yeah, Joe, our research is so good on this show that I actually know exactly where Rob lives. I know the block. I'll tell him after, not to I don't want people coming to his house, and
Listen, a lot of people actually know where I live because
I know your landlord too. So that's
I am not mindful about not sharing where I am. So it is what it is at this point.
Nice.
more on that maybe later on. But let's talk about back in the day with your schooling, right? So did you go to Townville High School? Is that where you went from
But I actually, when I had moved here in the eighth grade, my parents didn't know anything about you had to take a test to go to Catholic school. So they
Yeah.
thought Catholic high school, you just go, you sign up. And the summer going into high school, my parents thought, we're going to put you in St. Joseph by the Sea. Little did they know I had to take a test.
Yeah.
Actually went to the Francis school for the first 3 years,
Oh, okay.
if you remember that school on Amboy
Yeah.
Road.
Yep.
And then in my senior year, I actually went to Tottenville for 1 year.
All right.
I didn't really have like a traditional high school experience because I was put in this school that I had no business being in. My mom knew nothing about it. She just didn't want me to go to public school.
Yeah.
So the first 3 years was me convincing her that I need to go to public school. And then finally the fourth year, she's like, whatever, you want to go, go. They took me out of that school. I went to Tottenville, had to take all the regions, do all this, stuff that you didn't have to do in the Francis school. Um, but it was not traditional for me. I don't even know what to say about that.
All right. So you go to the Francis school. So is it natural to guess then you probably went to St. Francis back in Brooklyn for college? Is that
Oh
yeah?
no, no, no. I actually went to St. Francis College after that.
Yeah. All right. So I'm guessing, Rob, psychology major. It seems like you like to get in people's heads. Was that something you were looking to study at the time?
I was, and then after college, I actually didn't like it. Got a job for a jewelry company, worked there for like 4 years, and then somehow ended up becoming a paralegal by like complete accident 10 years ago.
All right. So talk to us first about, working in jewelry, working in retail, your customer service skills and what that was like for you.
It was actually a very cool job because it was doing social media for a jewelry company.
Cool.
If you remember back in the day, like Pandora Jewelry, Alex and Ani Jewelry, if you guys were
All over
buying
the
it,
mall. Yep.
if you were buying it for the young girls, they're actually franchises. So I ended up working for this couple that owned a few stores out in New Jersey. And back then, social media wasn't really big. It was just like, you were just starting to like use it for like a business. So they had hired me to do some social media work for them in two of their stores in Jersey. I worked for them for a few years. One of the stores was out in Jersey City, and I was commuting back and forth. And you're still young, you're going out down the shore. In the summer of 2016, I said, you know what? I can't do this no more. I can't do the drive. I'm done with it. I didn't really like it. Quit my job as a young 25-year-old, decided to take like a month off. Working there taught me how to deal with people, something that I'm not too fond of, believe it or
Hmm.
not. I don't
Well,
like working with others. I really don't like working with the public.
Yeah.
And I know now, 10 years later, it's gotten much worse with people. So I'm very thankful that I had gotten out of that.
right. So let's talk about becoming a paralegal, right? Did anybody suggest that to you? Was that something that just kind of opened up for you? And
Uh,
walk us through the process, behind becoming a paralegal, and then eventually what your day-to-day looks like.
so funny story. I had quit my job working for the jewelry company. And a family friend of mine had reached out to me because she knew I wasn't working anymore. She's like, my boss, mind you, she's been working here for 30 years. She's like, my boss needs someone to come in. They want to turn the office over from paper to digital. She's like, you want to come in for 2 days a week, make some extra pocket money? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I come in. She's like, it'll probably take you 5 months. I think it took me 2 months to do it. I did it within the 2 months. Um, and in that 2 months, I got to know my boss. I got to know the staff. My boss took a liking to me. So after that was over, he's like, do you want to work here for 3 days? Do you want to work here for 4 days? And before I knew it, it became full time. So in the beginning, I was doing something else for them at the firm. And then right before COVID had came about, my boss, his sister-in-law used to work for him, and she was like his main paralegal. So she was actually going to retire. So he said, you've been here for a couple of years. I know you know what you're doing. I picked up on, some things that a paralegal does. He's like, do you want to take over her job? So I said, sure, absolutely. And then COVID happened, and a lot of people didn't realize that real estate attorneys actually were considered essential because everyone and their mother were picking up and moving.
Yeah.
So in COVID, I had to pick up really, really, really quickly on what was going on. So it was kind of like a crazy transition from what I was doing to then really becoming a paralegal. And this all just happened by chance.
But there was a natural progression there. Obviously, you were very good at what you
Oh
do.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And you would, I imagine you went to Dunkin' before you went into work in
Oh,
the
every
morning.
day.
So,
Listen, everyone. So back in the day, we used to have four employees. Now it's only me and my boss.
Oh, wow.
Since since COVID, he trained me to the point where he doesn't have to have a staff anymore. He's a very lucky man. I'm also very lucky to have him. But prior to that, I was like the coffee bitch. Everyone would send me their order in the morning. We would pool the money together during the week. Everyone would get like the 50 to 50, 75, and we would just go and get, I would do the coffee in the morning.
so what was your go-to Dunkin' order?
Again, it really depends on the mood that I'm in. Some days I'll wake up and I want a certain flavor. Some days I'll want an iced, a latte, and then the Dunkalatte now that's out. So it's like every day,
Yeah.
it really depends on how I wake up.
Now you having one cup a day, or like how many drinks a day you having from?
No, I'll usually have like two,
Okay.
sometimes three, to be honest with you.
Well, I only have one.
O- on-
I
Only
used to
one.
go to Dunkin' a lot, but now I've been going to Country Donuts a lot
I
lately.
know, a lot of people slide in my DMs. They're like, go to country, but like
It's pretty good.
Country Donuts is just like out of my like
Love it.
what's the word? Like
It's on your route.
it's not on my route exactly.
Right. You got to go out of your
Um,
way to get it.
yeah, I really have to go out of my way to get it because I take the highway to work, and then the Dunkin's literally next door to my job. So
So what is your go-to Dunkin' Donuts location? Not talking like work, work wise, because I don't want to give up, where your work is,
no,
but
listen,
leisurely.
everyone on the internet has figured it out. I go to the Dunkin' on Highland and Old Town Road.
Okay.
You know where the Catholic school is on Highland? Across the street, there's like a parking lot.
Yeah, it's
There's
by
a
right by
Dunkin',
Royal
there's a
Crown.
Domino's. Yes, Royal Crown is a few blocks over. That's
Yeah.
my go-to Dunkin' during the week. On the weekends, I stay strictly in the drive-through.
Okay.
But this one is not a drive-through, so I have no choice but to get out of the car.
All right. So the weekends, the drive-through, you probably go in on the South Shore somewhere by
Correct.
Z2.
Correct. There's only one. Listen, you could dox me. People know where to find me
All right.
nowadays.
So recently there was some controversy with you at the Woodrow Plaza Dunkin' Donuts. Are they dead to you now? Are you gonna
Oh
give them
yeah,
another shot?
Oh yeah.
definitely. Definitely. You know what it is? I kind of have like gotten this like complex in the Dunkin' just because I've gotten so close to like all the Dunkin' people, as well as the Dunkin' corporate. So I go into Dunkin' with this tunnel vision that they know who I am.
Mm.
But I did get a reality check with the young girl who was working there recently.
She put
So,
you in place.
yeah, well, no, Liz, she actually tried to lie on my name. I said,
You had the
girl,
video.
you can't lie. I record every time I'm in the Dunkin' because everything is content to me now. So
Right.
I'm in the Dunkin', I'm recording it. She said he didn't order that. I said, girl, I'll put the video up.
Hmm.
I got the evidence.
Yeah, listen, I live by a rule now that, after working in the attorney's office for the last 10 years, documentation beats conversation. We document everything. Every time you call, I document that you called, the date, the time, how long we were on the phone for.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to bicker back and forth with you. I'm just going to show you the receipt.
So when did you start blowing up on social media? Was there any particular video that really got things going here or really, made you kind of more known in the
Yeah,
coffee
it's the
community?
video that haunts me right now. It's been haunting me forever. I'm from Staten Island. It was like the first and probably last like parody video that I ever did because I did it in the beginning. I started TikToking the end of January last year. I got the hang of it February, and I think it was like March 3rd. I had posted this I'm from Staten Island video that got 4 million views, and it got me like 20,000 followers overnight. So that was really it. And then I'm not like a skit person like on social media. I kind of find it like a little
Yeah.
like corny to like when like men skit. I don't know why. It's just like my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I just did it that like one time. And since then, it's just kind of like,
It's
Well, the
haunting.
video is funny and entertaining, so that's why it blew
you
up.
know what it is? It's the truth.
It is the truth.
It's
Do you know
exactly,
who my father is?
yeah, it's exactly what I've grown up around because everyone on Staten Island wants to keep up with the Joneses. Everyone lives above their means.
Right.
Everyone
Keep
thinks that
going.
everyone thinks that they're a descendant of John Gotti. You always have to hear, do you know who my father is?
Right.
I'm just making fun of what I've grown up around.
My favorite as a kid was like, oh, my cousin, my cousin, my cousin.
Yeah, everyone's cousin, everyone's father, everyone's grandfather, everyone's uncle.
Yeah. I think your best video was from this year when you were getting the iced coffee in the snow. Simple, plain.
Which one?
You were out there, you're like, oh, it might be snowing, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna drink
yeah,
my
yeah,
iced
yeah, yeah,
coffee.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah,
you just
yeah.
being true to yourself.
No, yeah.
Right.
So I'm not, I'm more of like, they say when you do content, like you have to have a niche, you have to have a lane, you need to skit, comedy, joke, this. Like I'm really more or less just like I pick up the phone and say whatever's in my head at the
Mhm.
moment. I don't really want to like lean into like the skitting and like the jokes and the this and that. I'd rather just like show off my personality.
Yeah. So how did your boss and your now former coworkers react to seeing your videos blowing up on social media?
So I actually don't have any coworkers. I haven't had coworkers
Well, yeah,
since
I said your former
Uh,
coworkers, but your boss now, yeah.
oh, so I'm pretty sure that my boss's daughter had seen it first. So for like the first couple of I would say like the first 2 months, I didn't really tell anyone. Just my like immediate friends knew. A lot of my family had no idea, but my boss, I believe one day he came in and he was like, "Are you on TikTok?" And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't really, I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't know how you were gonna take it." And he was like, "You are hysterical." He's like, "My kids think you're crazy." So ever since then, he's actually been like very, very supportive. Like my boss looks over all the contracts for me. Anytime I have a question about like, what does this mean? What does that mean? Should I sign this? Should I sign that? He's
That's
actually been really, really, really supportive. My family, a lot of my family think it's weird. So I'm like,
Mom,
they come
what?
from a different generation.
Yeah, yeah. Like they don't really understand it.
No.
But the more that like it keeps growing, like the more opportunities I get, and I like tell them like, oh, this is happening for me, that's happening for me. They are becoming more supportive of it.
yeah, the key is you got to be original. Shouldn't be using this AI stuff.
Right.
Oh,
Be
hell no.
authentic.
You are authentic, and I kind of agree with your assessment before on like the skit stuff. The skit stuff seems so forced, right? At least with you, it's like,
Yeah, there's some other Staten Islanders who are very skit heavy.
right.
Yeah, no, listen, God bless you. If you're skidding, it's working for you.
No,
Do
of course.
you? I am not, I'm not gonna knock anyone, but for me, it just like doesn't work because unfortunately, I feel like I'm a little bit of the stereotype of what they're skidding in a way.
Yeah, but again, you're authentic, and I think with you, it's natural. You don't force it. It's
Oh,
just
no, no, no.
raw.
Listen, this,
It's very evident to everybody, and that's why your videos do so well.
this has been me my entire life. You can go talk to anyone that's known me. They actually say I'm more tame online. They say I'm not really giving everything that I could, which in a sense I do kind of like agree with, but you do have to be careful everything you say, everything you do. I don't want,
Are we canceled?
yeah. You know what? Forget being canceled. I still have a job,
Yeah,
still out in the streets, like I don't want to say something that one day a client walks in and it's like, oh wait, you're the kid and you said that. I don't want to work with
exactly.
you. Like, and I don't want to have any problems in the street where people come up and they're like, I don't agree with you. This, that. One day, if I don't have to work anymore and I can do this full time, I probably will give a little bit more because at that point you could just say fuck you.
Right. And it's good you have a supportive boss, and that's important
Yeah.
because not a lot of people have that stuff to,
No.
to give the drive and the motivation to continue doing it. For you, opportunities have come left and right. So, talk to us about your social media video being on Access Hollywood, and Mario Lopez. Talk about some other opportunities that you've had, to meet certain people, and what about Kid Hoover hating your coffee order?
Wait, you want to laugh? So like a few weeks ago, I'm out at an event in the city and someone who follows me, they message me and it's weird because Instagram never really like shows you when you get a message from someone that you don't follow back. So someone messaged me and they're like, "Hey, just saw you on whatever the show was with Mario Lopez." I said, "What?" don't forget, these people take your content and they
Yes.
post it without telling you.
Yeah.
All right, and
That's
then they'll give you
There
the credit. They'll give you the credit before they actually reach
Yeah.
out to you. Yeah.
There's been like so many times people come like, oh my God, I saw your video on this, saw your video on that. I have no idea. So she messaged it to me. She's like, I saw your video. I'm like, listen, I didn't see it. I was like, can you do me a favor? Can you record it for me? So she was nice enough to like record it on her phone, send it to me. I was shocked. I was shocked, like seeing that because like Mario Lopez is kind of like a big deal.
yeah.
But as far as I'm not liking it, they just don't have good taste. Those are like LA people that
Yeah. It's true.
Yep.
are on diets and the whole nine, and that's just not my vibe over here.
Absolutely. So what are some of the coolest opportunities or things you've been sent thanks to your following that you've
Um,
gotten
so
now?
a lot of people don't really know this, but last year I did film like a rather large podcast with this company called the Straightened Out Podcast. It actually charted overseas in the UK,
Wow.
Australia, South Africa. It was a Mob Wives reboot podcast, rewatching all of old Mob Wives shows and interviewing reality stars, and people came on and we filmed like a bunch of episodes. They rolled out like 16 of them. I don't know what's happening from here on out. It wrapped up at the top of this year. Where it's going, I have no idea. I can't answer any of those questions. That was a cool experience. I went through a whole like 13 rounds of casting for a show that I ended up not doing.
Hmm.
They never confirmed that I got it, but I know I got it.
Hmm.
And I just backed out prior to me, accepting the offer. And the coolest things I get, to be honest with you, is food.
Yeah.
People are constantly reaching out. They're like, I make these crazy cookies. I make these crazy cakes. Do you want me to send it to you? Just like the other day, this new bakery in Brooklyn, they were like, I make this rainbow cookie donut cake. I just know you'll love it. The girl literally put it in like an Uber to me. And it was honestly one of the sickest things that I've ever eaten.
So
Wow.
you'll prefer to eat that as opposed to the rainbow cookie at Ralph's Ices.
Yes, correct, correct, correct. And
And
recently,
apparently Rob's a big F1 fan because they're sending him some
Ooh,
like car racing stuff too.
interesting. Talk to us about that.
no, to be honest with you, I had no idea what that was until the day they sent it to me. I had recently someone put me on a PR gifting for L'Oreal. L'Oreal makes all
Nice.
types
Yeah.
of like cologne for men and products for men, and things just show up at my door.
Gotta love it.
I really a lot of the time they show up. I'm like, what is this? Like recently, a company had sent me a ice maker. I'm like, where'd they get my address from?
Scary.
Well, I mean, if you're getting an ice maker, it's kind of offsets the scary part, right?
Yes, correct, correct. And recently, someone actually sent me someone made like a Louis Vuitton thing of like a dachshund, like a cutout of a dachshund made out of Louis Vuitton because I have a dachshund that I post. So someone had like reached out to me like, hey, I made you something. I want to send it to you. Can I have your address? They didn't really give me much detail. I said, okay, sure. They send it to me. It's like a custom made keychain that's in the shape of a dachshund with like a Louis Vuitton print. And on the back, they had like embroidered his name.
Wow,
Wow.
that's impressive.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
That's unbelievable. It's really good stuff. So, I'm going to ask you a typical Italian question. Thick or thin chicken cutlets?
Paper thin when I'm not eating it.
Now, do you like them fried or baked?
It depends, but obviously fried.
And how do you like them seasoned?
Very much seasoned. They need to be like perfectly seasoned, actually.
Now, are you one who eats it with ketchup or do you like drape lemon on it and kind of do something
No
different?
ketchup. If you eat anyone that eats chicken cutlets and ketchup is a criminal. They should be locked away for life. I don't have time for that. I actually skeeve condiments. It's a big thing about me that I don't really
Hmm.
ever tell anyone because I'll get more judgment for saying I don't like a condiment than like saying whether I'm Republican or Democrat. Like you'll get more judged about the condiment issue. But I
So,
need lemon and balsamic glaze, which is my Italian ketchup.
well, this is interesting. So my brain's churning here. You're known for your chicken cutlets. Joe apparently makes the best vodka sauce. So maybe you guys get together, a little
I don't
combination for
eat
dinner.
I don't eat vodka sauce. I also don't
Oh,
eat red sauce.
No sauce.
oh,
You're not an Italian, Joe.
Listen, growing up, my grandma would tell me, she's like, oh, real Italians, we don't eat sauce. So I guess My grandma also does not like sauce, so she would like say that to me.
Well,
I
where is
have
she
to make
from? What is she from? Directly from Italy or
no, 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 no. She's a Brooklyn Italian.
okay?
Her
Where
mother, her mother was from Italy. I do not know which part. I don't really
Interesting.
like.
I think
I,
that's a little like a location thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So my grandma would always say, "Oh, I don't, real Italians don't eat sauce. We would always eat butter or like garlic and oil." And then as I got older, I'm like, "Oh, well, all the other grandmas, all the other nonas, they're always making sauce on Sunday. Why don't you do it?" And she'd always use the excuse, "We don't eat that. They're not real Italians." But as I became older, I
Interesting.
realized what she was doing.
Interesting. All right. That could be your big controversial take come out of this podcast. See. So, what are some of your favorite reality TV shows?
I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Bravo or not, but I'm a big
Yes,
Bravo guy.
we are huge Bravo guys. Love the Real Housewives.
Okay,
Love
okay,
Summer House.
okay. Summer House is a little boring. They have gotten aged out, I think, most of
Definitely.
them.
Definitely.
This has been brought up on this podcast before.
They have gotten aged
Yes.
out, and I feel like they don't give the kid Jesse and the kid Wes the credit they deserve for like, even though I believe that they are in their 30s, but they've made it a little bit fresher. The rest have aged out.
Yeah. Rough season, I think, this year for West. He's kind of just like
I
whatever.
like him. I like him. Actually funny, I go to Montauk a lot in the summer. Like this
Oh,
has been my like third
I
summer.
gotta
I
get you out there to a house party.
I've seen them out there a lot. They're not as rowdy as I think that they should be, but that's the vibe over there. No one really gets rowdy. But the kid
No.
West and Jesse, they deserve credit. The rest of them, they can go.
They gotta shake up the cast. I think you'd be perfect out there. Send you out there.
Listen to me. They're not ready for a
No, they're
big,
not.
big loud
No,
mouth
they're
from
not.
Staten Island. And I don't think that I'm their demographic over there. They like the rich, skinny
Yeah.
playboys over there. Me, I'd
Yeah.
go there. I would put these girls in their place in 2 seconds.
That's true. Rob, I gotta ask you, like, why is Gabby on this show like 2, 3 years in a row? What is she? I mean, she's a big zodiac sign girl, but beyond that, what is she contributing?
I have no idea. I don't know what like any of them are really contributing. Paige,
Paige is
Paige,
just like, I'm the best.
all they do is lay in bed. They have a good gig going on over there that all they do is sit in bed and they're getting paid all this money to do absolutely
They
nothing.
just sit. It's terrible, and they need. It's,
No one does nothing. But listen, you guys obviously are men. I don't know if you like really like understand. I saw this theory about why Summer House works on Bravo, and I kind of have to agree with them. This girl had this theory that Summer House is so good because they don't glam. So like if you know what glam is, like when you watch Real Housewives,
yep, they always
women
glam up.
fabrics,
Got their
makeup,
glam
outfits.
crew.
Summer House is very relatable because the girls are just in their regular everyday
Yeah.
type of thing. The guys don't give a crap.
I think Summer House, if there's some attachment to this cast, they should kind of redo it where you got these people, they're in Manhattan, kind of like you took the Vanderpump crew you do in the Valley, and let's get a new cast for Summer House. Let's
Yeah.
get some more people who are crazy and they're gonna hook up with each other or whatnot, cause some drama because there's not much. The storyline's been the same here for a few years now. Little wrinkle here with Lindsay and Carl. Shout out to Carl, former You Know I'm Right podcast guest. But I think it's time for a little bit of a shake.
They need to go. And Bravo is really shaking up a lot of their shows.
Yeah. Now, I'm very upset that Real Housewives of New Jersey is being put on pause because
Yeah,
that was my favorite show. And we know Joe Gorga. We've been at his comedy show backstage with him. And let me tell you, Rob, he is much shorter than you think he is when you see
really.
him on the
So,
screen.
you know what? I've seen them out down the shore like back in the day. They used to go to Jenks a lot.
Wow.
They used to go to Point Pleasant. Yep.
But I'm very passionate about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and obviously, if you follow Bravo, they just announced that they're doing the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which,
Can't
according to
wait.
Indy,
Yep.
gives Jersey a run for their money.
Yeah. And I'm so glad they canceled Dubai.
Yeah, I really never got into that. I really never got into that. I'm big on Jersey. I'm big on Atlanta. I'm big on Miami. The
Salt
new
Lake. You watch Salt Lake?
Salt Lake is my second favorite. I
Me too.
think I didn't get there yet. The New York version that they just did
The
was,
reboot isn't working. How about Beverly Hills? You ever watch that?
I like Beverly Hills, but they were so boring this year.
Can Kyle Richards just come clean that she's dating Morgan Wade? I mean, it's just like, oh, I just this 3 years, this storyline. Just admit it.
There's a rule you're not supposed to out people that are in the closet. I mean,
Mm.
I'm not sure. If it was me, I would have called her out, but she runs the show, so no one's gonna come for
Well,
her.
Garcelle was coming for her, but now Garcelle got the boot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about Garcelle. I do not like her. I'm glad she's gone. She was boring. She was a like a confessional gangster. She only had something to say when she was doing the confessional. She never talked shit to anyone's face.
They got bows. Listen, I just think that a lot of these shows are really poorly cast as of late, the last few
Yeah.
years. And I understand, they got the name quality now, but like Housewife, literally none of these people are married. They're all single. So let's maybe get some more. That's why I like New Jersey because they got the family dynamics. The guys are the star of the show and the New Jersey.
Right. Real House
Really
Husbands in
hard
New Jersey.
the last few years. I think the problem with reality TV is just like the climate of the world. A lot of people are not willing to come on and like give you what you want as a
Right.
viewer because they feel like they have to watch everything they do and say.
Yeah, it's true.
Everyone comes on TV now to like start a brand.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
get
the
pumped up
atmosphere
product out.
overall is lukewarm.
Everything is like, I gotta watch what I do. I gotta watch what I say. That's why I would love to go on reality TV, but
Yeah.
I think that it would either go really well for me or it would backfire in my face because
I don't think it would
Joe,
backfire.
what do you think would be a perfect show for Rob to go on?
I think he would be great on Big Brother.
Yep. They typecast, and
They
Rob hits off
typecast.
3 of their boxes. So
Oh, yeah, well, Staten Island is legitimately a box that they check
you know
off.
Staten
what?
Island and gay, those are the 2 boxes, and someone
And
who
then,
works in the legal field, that's 3.
right.
Imagine.
And also, I think you'd be excellent socially. I think at the very beginning, people
Oh
would be
yeah.
like,
I
you
mean,
know
listen,
what?
clearly I'm not a competitive threat. I don't even know how to throw a baseball, like, you know?
But the thing is, it's not just physical stuff, it's mental
Yeah.
stuff, and there's a social component to that. And, all you would have to do is win a couple of mental competitions here and there and kind of get your way, to the end of the game. And at that point, again, you'd be so well liked that I think you would be good on the show. There are a lot of people from Staten Island who have made the top 4, 5,
Oh
6 of the show.
yeah. Funny thing, my childhood best friend is Christy Murphy.
Wow.
Oh,
So you got in that season they had
I know.
Tommy Bracco, Favre Vargas, 2
Christy and
Staten
Tommy.
Islanders who were
Tommy
gay
did
on
really
the
well on
show
the
at the
show.
same time. So I'm telling you, Rob, check a lot of boxes.
I
I would
know. You
love
know
to.
what? Listen, I wish I would have met you guys sooner because you could have told me how to apply for this.
That might still be time.
I think
We're
there
gonna
is
send you some
time.
casting directors'
Oh,
Instagrams. You give them a
wow.
Yep.
follow, maybe they DM you. Play
Oh,
hard to get.
who produces it? Is it like CB? Is it?
CBS.
Yeah.
I'm very like I don't know like background things. Like I know like NBC, CBS. Like are they like the same people or
No,
no?
2 different ones. So you're in the clear because you're away from Peacock.
Oh wow. Yeah. So actually, the show that I was casting for was a Peacock show.
Or they're gonna put you on where the what the Howie Mandel show on the island.
Oh no no no
Oh,
no.
wow.
Honestly,
Deal or no deal island.
I don't even want to say on
No,
cam
don't say, don't
because
say.
recently I did see the trailer for it come out and I just said thank God I
Yeah.
didn't.
Was it a dating show or a competition?
No 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 no. It was like a competition
Okay.
show.
All right. I think Big Brother is where you'll
You
fit in.
know, actually, I'm telling you, I love Big Brother. I've been like a super fan my whole life. I would love to go on. I would just be worried
I
that like, is it going to blow up in my face or is it going
no,
to do me
no,
any
no.
justice?
I see the vision for you immediately. I think you would be immediately liked. There's
Never
this
know
website.
because the way they tend to edit the loud
No, no,
like
no, no,
New
no.
Yorker negatively.
No. He would give them. So
I
here's
mean, he'd be great. They get a lot of camera time because you'd be good in those confessionals too.
But
No.
also, he's live feeds gold. Like people would literally subscribe to the live feeds just to watch what Rob has to say. That's what
You
I
think
think.
so?
Absolutely.
Rob making chicken cutlets for the cast. I mean, come on now.
And you interacting with the whole house in your style, and it's like no nonsense and everything. But again, I think that you do well socially too. So I think you're like right up their alley with what they're looking for.
No. Thanks for the compliment. You really like boosting my ego right now.
We got to try to set
Just
it up.
remember, just remember us when you're on the show. You got to give us an interview when you come off.
Well,
Would you guys ever,
actually,
would you guys ever
CBS.
consider doing something like that or no?
I've been telling Joe for about 5 years that he should go on because, the last time they had a Staten Island guy on, his whole thing, Pooch, they showed his like preview video, and his whole thing was, "My name's Joe, and on Sundays I make chicken cutlets with my mom. I'm Italian." And that's what they cast him for, and that's Joe. I
But
couldn't I couldn't do it.
that kid didn't go far, if I
No,
remember
he
correctly, right?
messed up. He pulled the pooch where he put himself on the block. But you don't do that. Don't ever
Oh,
do that. See
you
me,
know what? My biggest fear would be like being like voted off either like first or second. Like I'd be able to deal with leaving third, but
yeah.
like if I did all that and went home first or second, I would be devastated.
Hmm.
I would have
See,
to
I always tell Joe, like, if he went, he's going to be in it to win it. I'm going to be in there to mess stuff up in the first two
Right.
weeks, get a name for myself, help the podcast, and get out of there and get home to my wife and son. Because I can't stay 100 days away. I would just play so hard from the get-go. And if I get out, great. Because nothing would kill me more than being in the show, getting out, and then having to sit in that jury house for 2 more months, not even playing and waiting to vote for the finale. Get me
Yeah.
out of there.
Listen, if you tell me I'll make it to jury, I'll leave tomorrow.
Joe, I think Rob's got a good. We're gonna get Rob on the show
I
this
think we're
summer.
gonna get Rob on the show too.
Tell
We're
your
gonna.
boss I need the summer off.
I'll get Allison Grodner on the phone now, and we know a couple people who
That's so funny.
can probably introduce you or kind of lead you in the right direction when it comes to
So funny.
people who do production and casting for the show. Again, we think you'd be a great fit.
That's so funny. Thank you.
Of course. So Nick touched on this before the topic, but I want to ask you, what is your zodiac sign and do you relate with it? Because
I'm a
I
Sagittarius, and I'm a real Sagittarius.
think,
And I'm a December Sag, not a November Sag.
right, there's a difference
The
between the
difference.
two.
It's a huge difference.
December
November's
Sagittarius.
very boring.
It's true. The December Sagittarius people are a little more pranksters. They're jokesters. They're
Yeah.
very clever. They're very
Sounds
clever,
Rob
very
like Rob.
witty. Right.
What are you guys?
I'm a Gemini.
Okay, Gemini is my evil twin, but are you a May Gemini or a June
I'm a
Gemini?
May Gemini.
Gemini.
I
May
knew it.
25th.
I knew you were not June when you said Gemini.
Is that
And
a
Gemini
compliment, Joe? I don't know.
There's a
you.
difference between the two.
I know two June Geminis, and I could see the difference.
Joe, are you a Pisces?
No, I'm a water sign now, so you got two more guesses.
Yeah, I figured. I'm not.
Think,
I'm. I'm not good at guessing.
think America.
I think America.
What do you mean? And that you're an Aquarius?
No, America. Think of the United States.
I don't know.
He's very
See?
Hey,
patriotic. He's born on the 4th of July.
Oh, you are a Cancer.
I am. Funny,
Okay, okay.
funny. Nick's born on Memorial Day.
Oh, wow.
How interesting is that?
And you were born on 4th of July?
I'm born on the 4th of July.
Wow. Okay, okay.
And you're a Sagittarius.
Yeah, I'm a fire sign.
And you're also Sagittarius people are very they love learning, they love philosophical type of things. And again, when you're on the December side of things, you're a little bit of a better communicator, the clever and the wittiness comes out. You're a very quick thinker, you're a fast mover, you kind of go with things a little bit more than other fire signs and very comical. So
Listen,
I think you relate to all those qualities.
you did your homework on the Sagittarius side.
Did.
All
I did.
natural to this guy.
It's all
That's
natural to me.
funny. So many cancers,
Yep.
Cancer men, Pisces men. You guys are very, very, very emotional.
Yeah, I tend to get moody. I would
Huh?
say that.
It happens. It happens. What are you gonna do?
What are we gonna do? Rob, in your life or your career, what would you say is your I'm right moment? What I mean by that, it's a time or place where you wanted to pursue something. You asked somebody for advice. They said, Rob, what are you crazy? Don't do that. That's not gonna work out for you. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. And in the end, you will see why it is that I'm right about this. And I can tell you, I told you so.
Um, so here's the thing. I don't seek advice from nobody. Like, there's never been a time in my life where I come to someone and ask for someone's opinion or want to know want to know what someone else thinks because I make my own decisions for myself. I've always been that way. To relate to this question, really, the only thing I could really ever say to you to answer you is that my whole life, I always tell people to just be yourself. And like growing up on Staten Island, I feel like a lot of people didn't understand what being yourself was or being different or having a different thought process. And I've always been the one who was different, the one who had a different thought process, the whole nine. The advice I give people all the time is be yourself.
Mhm.
And I feel like recently it's become cool to be yourself, kind of like on Staten Island. The only thing I can say that I'm right about is that I literally have always told people just be yourself. Stop with this, like, this monkey see, monkey do mentality.
Right.
March to the beat of your own drum. But I really, honestly, I have to be honest with you, I really don't like ever, I don't seek out people's advice for me to like have like a specific moment in time.
But the be yourself thing is still good. And you are right. And you're on the perfect
Yeah,
podcast for
be
that.
yourself. Just relax, chill, do your own thing. If people don't like it, it is what it is. And that's the way I've kind of like always like lived my life.
Gotten you very, very far. We're going to get you on Big Brother real soon, Rob.
Yeah, listen. I've been kicking myself in the ass all these years. I'm like, you know what? If I really would have picked up that phone 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't even be sitting here right now in this attorney's office.
Oh, you're in the office, huh?
Yeah, listen, you don't,
Nick's the only one home, huh?
no, yeah, listen, I'm at work. If I'm not home or at
At work too.
Dunkin', I'm
Cheers to
at
that.
work. I'm at work. Listen, we have bills to pay. We have,
Sure.
a bank account to maintain. I'm not out here driving around in the $1,000 a month car and having nothing in the bank like everyone else on this godforsaken island.
Keep going, pal, with the rants. Those
We
are good.
actually have things to do.
But Rob, we really appreciate you having you on.
Thank
Thankfully, we were
you.
finally able to. You're absolutely hysterical. We
Thank
wish you the best moving forward. Nick and I, we're definitely going to reach out to you, and we'll see if we can put you in contact with either one of the Staten Islanders who's been on the show or somebody who can kind of help you with like the casting stuff. And even if it's not this year, you can always look at it next year. But we think
Listen,
you're a great fit for the show.
as long as you guys make a little finder's fee, go right ahead.
That's right.
All
I'll
right?
No,
tell
thank
our I'll tell our attorney to help us out.
Yes,
Everybody's got to eat.
that's right. But Rob, this has been fun. We always give our guests here the last words. So if there's anything else you would like to share, and also where can everybody find you on social media?
One thing I want to share again, authenticity, be yourself. Don't try to, I call it monkey see, monkey do mentality. Just be yourself, have fun, and you'll get a lot further in life staying true to yourself than trying to copy and mimic what everyone else is doing. And you can find me on Instagram. It's Real Rob Pepp. And on TikTok, I'm Rant with Robert. Maybe one day I'll have them both the same, but that's what I've been starting with.
Rob, this has been great. The three of us will get together real soon to go to Dunkin' Donuts, and we'll take it from there. But this is going to do it for this episode. If you know I'm right, for our special guest, the real Rob Pepp, my co-host, the real Joey Cows, I am the one and only Nick Durst. And this has been You Know I'm Right.